Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with my blind reaction to episode 3 of Dr. Stone. So last time we met a new ally who might turn out to be an enemy, because he has this ideal world he wants to work towards. While our main heroes want to just kind of, resurrect everyone from the stone and bring back the world kind of to where it was, I guess, basically. This dude is more like, yeah, okay, sounds great, but let's only bring back the kids. Fuck the adults. They can go die. We can shatter their statues. Let's bring back the kids and create a world of only kids. It's like, okay, dude, children grow up. You do realize that you and all the others are gonna become adults, right? Do you just plan to like kill them off once they reach 18? Like, what is happening here? I, like, dude. Or does he just think like, okay, the old adults, let's get rid of them so that we raise ourselves into being better, and so that the new era of adults will be different, will be more um, fair, I guess, in his eyes. The problem with that is the only way to live in this kind of utopian ideal he has, it would be to have like cult level brainwashing of everyone. Because otherwise, everyone's going to be different. They're going to have different ideals. They're going to have different beliefs, different views on things. That's how humanity works. And yeah, some of that's not for the better. I agree with that. There are some people out there who are bad, who are evil, even. But even with that being true, like, you can't just kill them all. How does that make you any better? Like, seriously. Um, and you can't like automatically make everyone like just adhere to your own beliefs, because that's also bad. That's also evil. Like, that's not okay. It's like he's kind of like trying to be like this, in his eyes, righteous evil to defeat the old evil, and it's like, my dude, that's not how this works. And Senku clearly understands that. Like, he was very clearly disturbed by this line of thought. And I like that. I like that he's not just purely science. I said, I think, last episode that he was pure science and the other guy was pure heart, but that's not actually true, clearly. Because, like, it's not even just from a logical and scientific standpoint that Senku opposes this ideal. It's very clearly also from, an emotional standpoint. It's just like he just doesn't agree with that because it's wrong. It's just morally wrong. But I think what I was trying to say last time is that Senku thinks um, his lines of thought, his processes, and most of what goes on in his head is scientifically based. That is how his mind works. He's not just exceptionally smart, but his mind is geared towards scientific advancement and bettering the world. And that is probably because of a desire to help people. This is his way of doing so, by utilizing scientific achievement. And that's a great way to help people. If you're genuinely using it to try and, make society better, that's awesome. That's amazing. And we have our other main character whose name is escaping me right now. Uh, and he's a kind of a doofy dude, but he has such a big heart. He's a great person. He's very morally sound. and he just cares about people. He's also very strong. He's not a fighter, but he's strong, and he utilizes that to help. He's, again, a very good person who utilizes what he's given and what he has to help people. And that's good. That's great to see. But this other guy, again, whose name I just cannot think of at the moment, he's not like that. He wants to form this utopia not to help people, but because of an incident that happened to specifically him. Because of bullying and abuse and shit like that happened in his life prior to, the Stone Age, I guess you would call it. He ended up having this insane resentment and hatred towards adults. So now that he's given an opportunity to basically kill them all, he is trying to take it. There's some issues with this ideology, though, because besides the obvious I've already stated, there's some issues with just how are they going to determine this? Because these people are encased in stone. They're not exactly the most detailed figures. It's not like you're looking at the Michelangelo, or not Michelangelo, the statue of David. It's not like you're looking at that. And even that wouldn't be like the most detailed possible. The point is, it's like you might not be able to tell. There are some adults who look younger than they are, and there are some teenagers who look older than they are. You just might not be able to tell what the age of the person you're awakening is. It's hard to tell sometimes. I've known plenty of adults who look like they're teenagers, who just look really fucking young. I've known plenty of teenagers who teenagers I went to school with, who I swear looked like they were 30 when they were only 15. I'm being completely serious with that, too. It's just, it's not infallible. Like, okay, this is a weird example to just draw from the top of my head. What if they came across someone who looks like Uzaki from the series Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out? Uzaki is very small. She's a small, petite woman. And outside of the giant breasts, she could easily be mistaken for a student in terms of her age. But she is an adult. She is a college-age adult. And what if, you saw someone who looks like that, but also doesn't have the giant breasts? They're an adult, but they look like they're, younger. What do you do in that situation? By this guy's logic, she would be awakened, because she would look physically younger, as much as you could tell through the stone, of course. But in reality, she's an adult, so it's his entire logic is flawed. It'd be really funny too if Senku actually brought that up. I could believe it would happen too. That's why I'm actually mentioning this. Because Senku is that smart where I could actually see him bringing up that issue with this dude's entire ideology. But yeah, it's there's a lot of issues even outside of that. It's just, I don't see how this could really work. But I also feel that this guy is determined enough to try. And like I said last time, the opening does show this guy and does make him look like a villain. So I'm thinking he is probably going to end up being a villain. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to attack them because I believe it was even mentioned last time that Senku and the other guy, like, they have no way to defend against him. They're not fighters. They're not strong. This guy is very strong and he is actively a fighter. If he tried to attack them, he could probably kill them with ease. Honestly. I mean, he killed a lion with ease. So, just saying. So, if they do end up splitting up, I feel like it's just going to be that. Like, they're going to split up. They're going to go two different ways, but nothing's going to, like, he's not going to kill them. Which could come across as, like, he doesn't want to kill any kids. Even if they disagree with him, he wants kids to exist still. Which also still brings in more flaws to his entire logic. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm curious as to where this is going to go. And if we're going to actually resurrect the one dude's potential desired girlfriend in this episode. Don't remember her name either. I'll get names down. I will. It's just, I'm still early into this series, so you got to give me a little bit of leeway here. But I'll get names down a little better. We don't have like a massive cast or anything, so it shouldn't be too difficult. It's just, it sometimes takes me a little longer. It's a me thing. But I'm excited to see more because the first two episodes of this were really good. I really like what this series is going for. I like a lot of the science, which apparently in this series is real science. Like, it is actually, like, genuinely real shit. And that's wild. And I like the kind of tone it's going for, too. It obviously, this series obviously, like, puts a big spotlight onto science, but it doesn't look down on people or like ideas or whatnot that aren't scientifically focused. It seems to value them just as much. It's like, oh, we value science. Science is great. It's this amazing thing that helps people. But we understand not everybody's going to be into that. We understand not everybody's going to be able to understand all of that. So we're going to have other stuff as well. We're going to explore other things like morality and kindness and strength that exists outside of science. And I like that. I like that it covers kind of all sides of this, even while science is still a massive point of the series. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more of this. So we're just going to get into it. We're going to give this a go and see what this episode has in store. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. Excuse me. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we have our newest member of the group, Yuzuriha, and while she seems mostly to be this kind of cutesy, nice, just super friendly type of girl, she has shown that she can be useful to the group as well, showcasing the fact that she found the Buddha, which was a important landmark for them to understand where they were and where they needed to go. And I want to make clear here, I kept hammering in this usefulness thing during the reaction, and I want to make it clear that her, even if she doesn't find any way to be like as useful as say Senku and oh my god, his name has just been mentioned and I'm already forgetting it again. Um Again, I'll get the names down eventually, but even if she's not as useful as the others, um that doesn't mean she doesn't deserve to live and doesn't deserve to be there. She very much does. Um the question's just going to come into play of like I do wonder if she is going to be able to do anything and what that is going to be. Um, because like just like locating a single familiar landmark, like that doesn't necessarily mean she's going to have like exceptional navigation skills. Honestly, um, Senku already has that in the bag. He already can navigate extremely well with latitudes and longitudes and all because of his scientific mind. So as long as they know where they are, they'll be fine. And honestly, with the fact that they found even just that, he'll probably know where they are from here on out. So there's got to be something else she's going to be able to lend to the group. I don't know what that is yet, but there's got to be hopefully something else. And if again, if there isn't, if she is just the cutesy nice one, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody is going to have something, especially in this kind of situation, that is going to be able to lend to the group. You just have to acknowledge that. And sometimes what someone brings to the group might not even be good, hence Tsukasa. So Senku realizes how dangerous Tsukasa is, but he also makes a point of noting how he is nice, how he is a good person. But how despite that he is still a murderer. He is still horrible. Cuz both can be true. A lot of people would like to say, like, oh, you're a murderer, so that means automatically there's nothing good about you. But that's not necessarily true. A lot of the worst people in history might have been very good in some situations, in some circumstances. Maybe, like, these horrible people were exceptionally lovely to their family and friends. Maybe they were scientific geniuses whose inventions and stuff helped the world, but they were just terrible people. There's a lot of cases of that throughout human history, where people who have done great things for humanity have been bad in some cases, and people who have done a lot of these horrible things have been good in some cases. It's dependent on various circumstances. So Tsukasa is definitely one of those people, one of those characters who is not fully a bad guy. He genuinely wants to help humanity, and he genuinely wants to create a world that will thrive and that the next generation will be able to survive properly in. He genuinely wants to help. The only problem is he's gained this twisted sense of reality that makes him believe that all adults by nature from the old world are bad, are evil. He believes he's doing a service by taking them out because he believes they're the bad guys. He believes that kids are untainted by that and that they are the ones who deserve to move on and create the new world. But there's so many issues with that kind of ideology, because there's no such thing as an all or nothing with that kind of situation. All adults are not necessarily bad people just because some of them are. And all kids are not necessarily just good people just because they're kids. There are a lot of terrible kids in the world who are just, bad for one reason or another, but still. It's not an all or nothing thing. it's a situation where some of them are and some of them aren't. That's how humanity works. But again, Tsukasa's mindset has been informed by how much he's been hurt and those close to him. He's been tainted, he's been twisted by the pain that has been given to him through no fault of his own. And now he sees things in a very black and white way. And sees all adults as his enemy, as someone who will just cause more pain and suffering in the world. He's a good guy because he genuinely wants to stop that pain and suffering, but he's still murdering people. And that in and of itself is still wrong. So he's kind of like this really morally interesting character, because he genuinely has a lot of good to him, but he's also committing these heinous acts. And I think that makes for a fascinating villain, or at least antagonist, which he definitely is. He is definitely an antagonist, even if you don't want to call him a full-out villain. I actually really like antagonists who are morally gray like this, who you can understand. You don't agree with them, but you understand their point of view. And I think more shows should actually strive to do this, because it feels more realistic than just having someone who is just pure evil. And don't get me wrong, like, you can still have pure evil villains. I mean, you should, because there are some people like that. And we need to realize that just as much, that not everything is gray. There is some cases that are black and white like that. Unfortunately, there are. But, despite that, I think it's good to show this as well. Because both sides are realistic, and you should have both. And I want to see, I mean, like, actual antagonists, like Tsukasa here, who are more in a gray area. I'm not talking like Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan, who is just a bad guy. No, I'm not talking about that. Eren Yeager is a psychotic, evil, just piece of shit. One of the reasons why I don't like Attack on Titan, but, well, past season 2. I'll be fair and say past season 2. In terms of the anime, I don't know what that would be in terms of the manga. So, but anyway, the point here is that Tsukasa is now hunting for them, because after he left to do his own thing, after they had found out about everything, they made this plan. Senku mostly made the plan to have them escape and fake that they had, like, run away in terror and fear and everything. Unfortunately, Tsukasa is also really smart, and he figured it out really quickly what they were doing and even where they were going, which also helped him figure out exactly what their goal is: to get this gunpowder, to create a gun to, stop him with. Which would definitely work. Like, as strong as he is, he's not immune to the power of gun. It's like, dude can still get shot and killed. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he is going to confront them. I think he is going to catch up and confront them. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but I do know that I don't think he's going to die. I think he's going to end up, I think they're just going to end up separated and just be on opposing sides of things. I guess we'll have to see, but he is definitely a dangerous threat. But, like I said, our group has definitely increased. We have a larger, we have a trio now. And I'm interested to see how a lot of these other characters we see in the opening come in. Because there's an old guy who looks like he's doing like martial arts or something. And it's like, you can bet your ass Tsukasa didn't revive him. Tsukasa's smart, so he's definitely gonna, now that he knows like about the nitric acid and everything, he's definitely gonna be reviving people too. He's probably gonna create his own army of sorts. So there's that issue too. But we have to hope that Senku and them will still be able to create more of their own as well. Because it's like, they're going to be further away from the cave unless they find another cave with bats. It's like, I don't know. They'll figure it out, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where this goes. I also like how this episode explained like the cracks in their faces and all. I was kind of wondering about that. I thought it was just a design choice and everything. I never really questioned it. So the fact that they actually addressed it here, and it's like, oh, well, we had the cracks and everything happen, and when we were revived, yada yada. It's like, oh, that's fascinating. That's genuinely fascinating. Because it's like, I didn't know those were actual, like, just cracks in their flesh. It's kind of freaky, actually. I wonder how that would be done in, like, a live action. Because you can't just, like, paint that on. It's not paint. It's literal cracks in their flesh. That's wild. But yeah, this is getting very interesting, and I'm very excited to see where it goes from here. When I first heard of this series, I didn't really know what to think about it. I think I talked about this when I did my first impressions. I really didn't know what to think about it. Because it's a series that, at base level, didn't really sound like it could be interesting to me. It didn't really, like, seem like it'd be my kind of thing. But I didn't think it would necessarily be bad. It's not like Fire Force, which I actively thought I wouldn't like. It's like, this is one that I just thought, like, I don't know if I would ever like something like this. It just doesn't really seem like my kind of thing, but I don't know. That's kind of more of what I got here. With Fire Force, it was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. And then I ended up really liking it. So yeah, it's a different kind of vibe for sure. But I gave it that chance, and the first episode really impressed me. The first episode of this, just like Fire Force did, really impressed me and gave me a lot of hope for the future of it. And so far, I mean, I've seen only 2 more episodes after that, but I've really enjoyed both. I genuinely have. And I'm liking the characters. I'm even liking the little bits of, like, random humor. It kind of reminds me of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Because in that series, too, like, it's serious most of the time. But then they'll, like, throw in little bits of, like, cartoonish humor with, like, expressions, and they'll make things look, like, almost chibi-like at points or whatnot. Just because of, like, the humor of it. And they're clearly doing that in here too, and it's like, oh, that's kind of fun. I like that. I like that there seems to be a similar humor. Like it's not really like like switching the art style to more chibi-like, but a good example of it was when Senku's talking to Tsukasa, and the big oaf comes rushing in. Again, I will remember his name eventually, but he comes rushing in, like, talking about, like, we got the stuff from the cave and everything, and Senku makes that ridiculous face. That is very much the kind of humor Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood would do. So, yeah, it gave me that kind of vibe. It just not with necessarily that wild of an expression, but Brotherhood has had some wild expressions too, mind you. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. I'm really interested to see what more they do with Yuzuriha, whose name I am remembering because of the character from Hell's Paradise. I will not lie. That is actually the way it's helping me remember. Whatever works, right? Um, but yeah, uh, I'm interested to see what more they do with her, and I'm interested to see a lot of these other characters we see in the opening. So, thank you so much for tuning in. Tell me your thoughts on episode 3 down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.